All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another video. All right, y'all, so I know I talked a little bit about this yesterday in the live, but I just kind of want to get my thoughts on this one because, some people are really kind of looking into this thing and wanted to know my thoughts on this one. But, yeah, man, Dakota Ditcheva, she was on the MMA Hour. And, of course, when you're on the MMA Hour, Ariel Hawani, he's going to ask some crazy questions. And I can't really blame the fighters when they answer questions like this because, hey, confidence, that's a big part of being a fighter. And when you're in the same weight class and when you're in the same sport as another fighter, those questions are gonna come up, and you always want to answer with that. You always want to have that confident answer. You always want to answer with that type of confidence to let people know that hey, it is a possibility and things like this could happen one day, right? And I know Dakota Ditcheva, she was just answering this question with confidence, and I'm not knocking her on it, but at the same time, I know there's work that needs to be done here. But, Ariel Hawani, of course, he asked a question to Dakota Ditcheva if she went over to the UFC, could she beat Alexa Grasso or Valentina Shevchenko? And, of course, she answered that I could have that title if I went there. Yeah, I think I could beat Grasso and Shevchenko. I definitely think I'd be up there. And I know he also added in, he tried to add in some things like, oh, because they're not really wrestlers. They're not really primarily wrestlers. They're strikers. So he was trying to make it sound like, style wise, that it's something that she could go over there and do right now. Right. But to say that, you just kind of ignore all the other work that Grasso and Shevchenko's put in. And, you're trying to just build up Dakota's confidence more than it should be at this point. But, she answered, hey, the way that you feel like any young, hungry fighter would say, right? Because that's what they're all going to say, right? Macy Barber said it at one point. Aaron Blanchfield said it at one point. But, there's work that has to be done. So I'm not really mad at that. I just wanted to talk about it because I know some people feel like, hey, style-wise, she could beat them. And I'm like, whoa, now you got to pump the brakes. You got to pump the brakes. I know what we're seeing over here in the PFL. It makes her look unstoppable and unbeatable, and she's running through everybody. But, hey, there's work that has to be done, man. Confidence is good, though. When I hear her talk, that was the first thing I wanted to say is, Dakota's speaking on herself and, speaking on the work that she put in, confidence is good. I always like to hear fighters, just answer those questions and say, if I did come over there, I would do it. And I think when she's speaking like that, she's meaning that, hey, if I'm in the UFC, I know what I'm up against. I know the caliber of fighters I'm going to have to be fighting. I know the things I'm going to have to do to compete with these fighters in the UFC, because we all know that she's just not going to jump straight in and fight Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko. So at some point, she's just saying that, okay, yeah, I could beat them. If I was over there now and I fought my way up, I could beat them, right? Because right now, we know she's on a different level in a different organization that hasn't really been tested. But if she was signed to the UFC, that's not going to be like the first fight on her list. She's going to have to fight her way up. So if she was there, yeah. So I understand that, confidence, every fighter needs it. You got to speak with that type of energy that says, I'm not afraid of anybody. They're just human like anybody else, but there still has to be respect. And with that, like I said, work has to be put in. Before Ariel Hawani can even bring up Grasso and Shevchenko to a fighter like Dakota, who's still considered to me like in a regional, not a regional organization, but on a lower level organization, kind of like, Invicta and LFA, because the competition's not as high, she's still putting in that work, right? So when she comes over to the UFC, she's still going to have to put in that work. So, work has to be done. I mean, when you look at her record, of course, 11-0, all finishes, it looks like, yeah, okay, this girl's in the double digits with wins and she stopped 11 people. She could fight them. But once you really analyze the sport and you looking at who she's fighting, no, like, she's got to be tested. I know the way she fights, it's entertaining and it has killer written all over. But at some point, you're going to run into different styles. And I don't think the fighters she's been fighting have really been giving her that full-on test. It's just like whenever some of the other fighters like Casey O'Neill or, Manon, when they first came into the UFC, they were finishing the first couple of fighters. But as the competition gets stiffer, the finishes don't come anymore, right? The decisions start to come in. And for Casey O'Neill, like her, the losses start to come because they're running into different styles, So you got to be able to have those different obstacles thrown at you to prove, okay, this person's ready. Like, they face this, they face that, right? So to the casual fan, when they see a Dakota Ditcheva, they think that's going to be easy. They think that, oh, okay, like, this girl is knocking these girls out. Valentina's chin and Grasso's chin won't hold up, or their striking won't hold up against her. But no, man, it's just like any other fighter. No matter, look, if you like them or not, they still have to put in that work, right? You have to look past her 11-0 in PFL and still say, okay, we haven't seen her do this. We haven't seen her takedown defense tested. We haven't seen really her wrestling tested. We haven't seen her have to fight another striker or bigger, longer striker with relentless pressure as well. Like, we haven't seen anybody give her trouble with a good jab either, you know? So there's just a lot of different things like that that I still need to see from her before I can even say, like, oh, she's a threat. Like, the girls that I've called threats before, like Tyler, Manon, Aaron, when they came over to the UFC, I was calling them threats when they came into the UFC and actually fought with some type of intensity and like an urgency and a dominant factor. You know, those girls were fighting with like a dominant factor that I knew could be a problem for the champion. And for some of y'all that looked at Alexa Grasso, I overlooked her. Y'all felt like, hey, Alexa Grasso style. Like, same thing with her, right? She put it together. She came in well-rounded, complete, as she stepped her game up. And look what she did to the champ. She finished her, right? You know, I was looking more at like Tyler Manon. You know, Tyler, she gave her a tough, hell of a fight, you know, Valentina, but it was Grasso that stopped it, right? So when you looked at what Grasso did, you know, she was putting in that work. You know, she had to grow. You know, it was like a work in progress. None of the other stuff, all the other stuff mattered, but it was still like a new Grasso that had to come into this division when you start fighting on this level, right? And flyweight is on a different level right now. Like, compared to PFL, this ain't like the UFC's flyweight division. This one's going to be tougher for any girl, you know, that's just coming in, even if you are 11-0, right? So, whenever somebody like Ari Hawani asked that question, and I know some of y'all wonder too, y'all say, can she beat Grasso or Alexa Grasso or Valentina Shevchenko? I actually have to kind of say it's almost like, to even say that now, like I'd have to say that'd be disrespectful to say she could do that right now, you know, based off of what we've seen, not without that middle work put in. Like, if she was like, say if she already beaten a few fighters in the UFC and she was like number 15 or still unranked, then I could possibly say that. But when she's way over here in PFL right now and hasn't really been tested, it'd be, like I said, it'd be kind of disrespectful to say that, okay, yeah, she could beat Grasso or knock Valentina out or give them a, you know, great fight. Her striking holds up. It would hold up just as well as, you know, Manon's or somebody like that right now. No, I can't say I'd be disrespectful, because we were holding fighters like Grasso to that higher standard whenever she first got there, right? Like, when she first got in the 125, I wasn't feeling like she could beat Valentina, right? But she had to put in that work. You know, when she beat somebody like Macy Barber, I still wasn't convinced. So why would I say somebody from the PFL would have that type of style, or they've done enough? Like, they have to prove something. You know, they have to prove something. And, you know, Grasso, before she could even step in there with somebody like Valentina, she had to be well-rounded, you know, so she had to put in that work. You know, she had to get that, you know, she had to get that ground game right. She had to put on a little bit more muscle. She had to get stronger. She had to work on her jiu-jitsu. She had to study Valentina tape after tape, you know. So it takes time, you know, just like any other sport, any other level, kickboxing, Muay Thai. If you fighting the champ in those sports and you way down here and you still consider the prospect, no, you have to put in the time and the hours, you know. Same with the men. Like, you just can't see somebody, Anthony Hernandez, jump all the way up and beat the champions division like that, you know. They got to do it. They got to prove it. So I don't see Dakota Ditcheva style right now doing that. I can't say, oh, she beats it, because that'd be disrespecting the whole game and just disrespecting the work that these fighters have put in. Again, we don't even know if Dakota Ditcheva is well-rounded. Her striking looks great. You know, I think, yeah, her striking looks really good when she's in there, you know, dropping these knees and these dropping girls with body shots. But we still have to see the takedown defense. I know she did get a submission win recently, a couple of fights ago, but still need to see how she handles a lot of these girls on the ground, you know, with her grappling. Now, if she works on her takedown defense to another level like Joanna, then maybe she could survive a little bit longer. But when we talking flyweight division, this is different than 2014 strawweight division. 2014, 2015 strawweight division with Joanna running it with her great takedown defense. Girls are evolving past that now. So you have to come in well-rounded. You have to come in with some level of jiu-jitsu. So I think, yeah, that's something that she has to do. So, of course, her skill sets, they have to catch, whenever, of course, when her skill sets are caught up, then we'll talk about that. Whenever she's beat like Tyler Santos and Liz Carmouche and we see something different from her in those fights, or she's really putting these girls on notice with power and timing. Like if she's able to get Tyler respect and maybe bust Tyler up or even like knock out Liz Carmouche, whichever girls if she's fighting, then we'll start talking, right? Then we can start saying, okay, this girl, if she can hurt somebody like Tyler and maybe even like stop a veteran like Liz Carmouche, then we'll see. But if she's on the ground getting drowned by them two, then I can't really say. I know like Alexa Grasso's not a full-on big, strong grappler like Tyler Santos was, but Alexa Grasso, she can get some takedowns on Dakota. I think she'll be slick enough to get in there on somebody like Dakota. But yeah, I just don't see that happening, man. Like right now, like Ariel Helwani brings that up. I know he wants to kind of build her marketing up and, start putting her name in, a lot of people's ears. Dakota, she's the next big thing. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Now, if we were just talking like pure striking fight, maybe, maybe like if it was just like a pure Muay Thai match or pure just MMA striking, like say if we did this in ONE FC, no grappling, no takedowns, no anything. Maybe if it was just pure striking, full on striking, yeah, she could probably like give Grasso or Valentina a run for their money because, look at her size, her length and her reach. She uses those things well. Her power, she has power. And, her just overall natural skill. At 26 years old, I think she's very, very fluid and throws nice kicks and nice punches. But that's not what this is. This is MMA, We got to worry about takedowns. We got to worry about pressure. You got to worry about, you just got to worry about clinch control, elbows, and all of that. And that level of jiu-jitsu when you're talking Grasso and Shevchenko. So, yeah, there's still a long way to go for her. There's still a long way to go for her. If she can go in there and do something big against fighters like Tyler and Liz, and she wins that $1 million against them, then, hey, possibilities are endless for her. But this is what she said about that, too. She said, I think we'll see that when I win this tournament. Now I can say I beat somebody like Liz Carmouche and Tyler Santos. As soon as I beat them, what else can people expect other than greatness for the rest of the year? Which is true. I mean, not necessarily greatness, but, big things coming up for her. Like, if she gets past these two type of fighters, then what else is next for her? Because I will say this, beating Tyler Santos would still mean a lot. It would still mean a lot because Tyler just got cut from the UFC because of whatever bad business deals were going on or, like inactivity. Like she felt like they weren't giving her enough fights. Like Tyler didn't get cut from, of course she was on a 2-fight losing streak, but that was against the best fighters, Aaron and Valentina. But it wasn't like a big, crazy 7-fight losing streak where she was getting stopped or anything like that. So Tyler is still the legit goods. Tyler is still UFC level to me. All right, so that's one thing we got to remember too. That's why I'm saying, like, if Dakota does beat her, then I'll be looking. I would definitely put her on notice, especially in the fashion, however dominant in the fashion she does it. I'll be looking at that. And then I'll give her full-on credit for Liz Carmouche. This girl's a long-time champion. She's beaten everybody. Hasn't lost since, the Valentina fight? Her as well, right? She hasn't lost since Valentina in the UFC, right? She's been dominant in Bellator organization and PFL now, So Liz Carmouche, that's another UFC-level fighter right there that if Dakota beats her, yeah, then big things is coming for her, So if she handles them, then, yeah, go into the UFC and, hey, we'll see what happens from there. But until then, I just need to see a little bit more and something, a little bit more dangerous than some of the fighters that she's been fighting. I mean, we'll see if Chelsea Hackett can hack it. I know some of y'all feel like Chelsea Hackett, since she's a striker, she might give Dakota some trouble, but I think Dakota's level of striking and I think her size, I think she uses it all too well, and I think she'll come out the winner in that fight. So, yeah, guys, we'll see, man. Definitely no knock to Dakota. I like the energy. I like watching her fight, but, I'm not going to rush her ahead like that until she handles somebody like Tyler Santos and Liz Carmouche. That's just me, guys. But, hey, work has to be done. Confidence is there, but the work has to be done. Combo Breaker 99, what do y'all think? I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.